A few months ago, I had ordered a bunch of cards from COMC. Today, I'm going to go through them. I haven't seen them. They were shipped to my parents' address in, I think, December. And they, I knew I was going to be moving back to the States, so I didn't have my mom send them on to anywhere. So I don't really recall what is in here, but let's go through and see what there is. Now, most of these I'm going to be showing you today, and here are cards that I think will do better in China that I bought on COMC, thinking of as kind of arbitrage opportunities. So kind of expect that. So this is an example. This is a box topper of LeBron James, actually two of them here. I have 262 cards in these three boxes. As you've seen in some of my other videos, my most common approach has been buying pretty low-end stuff that I think will do better in China, with a few higher-end things scattered in there. I don't like to do too much high-end risky stuff. You know, in China, a lot of stuff can fall through the cracks, so I don't want to sell stuff there that if it falls through the cracks, I would lose a lot of money. So I get stuff that I can find cheap here that is unlikely to fall through the cracks, and if it did fall through the cracks, I wouldn't lose anything because I got these for a good price. Optic, RJ Barrett, PSA 9. Now, sometimes I find that in China, the graded cards are less common. They're so common in the US, but in China, it's not a very common practice. It's not so convenient to grade your cards necessarily. It's becoming more convenient. So sometimes graded cards, especially PSA 10s, autos, stuff like this, these will actually sell a decent bit better in China than they will in the US, which is why I got some of these kind of low-ish end graded cards like this. Some of these Bowman First, if they're graded as well, seem to do pretty well. Baseball card collectors, it seems like there's waves for how sometimes things will go really high, sometimes things will go really low. I think there's not a whole lot of people involved in that space, so I don't ever get high-end baseball or football cards to sell in China. Usually I'm more thinking about buying them than selling them when it comes to those sports. Like this one, in fact, I am fairly certain I am going to pull this one off to the side and not sell this one in China, because I sold one of these in China before and it sold for like nothing. Rui Hachimura, some more Bowman First rookie autos. Silver Prism, PSA 9, Bowman First Autos, Michael Porter Jr., PSA 10, Green Prism. I sold a silver one of these, SGC 10, and it went for way higher than I was expecting. It's not even his rookie year, it's his second year. And then the Trae Young Hoops rookie, PSA 9. A few more, these are Project 70, tends to do really well. Project 2020, okay. Project 70 cards tend to do quite well in China. I know that there was a period of time they did well in the US as well, but then they kind of fell off and don't sell for well in the US anymore, so I can get them for cheap. Oh no, this isn't the Project 2020 or Project 70. There's a few others in here. This is the LeBron James Sports Illustrated for Kids rookie. Torian Prince auto for deck portraits. Xiangwei Li. Some of her cards sell for well in China as well. Chinese UFC. This one I sold once before in China, actually. Sold for quite a bit. It sold for like 3 times more than I bought it for previously. Got some more Bowman First autos. And this one I bought for like $1.50 or something like that. I think it will do okay. Exquisite, just the brand in general. Exquisite always seems to do well in China. On-card autos, beautiful card. Shohei Ohtani cards tend to do well. Project 70 Shohei Ohtani, this one's gonna do pretty well, I'm sure. That one, I'm not sure if they will do. The Project 2020 don't do as well as the Project 70. That one might still. I still get a couple cheap ones every once in a while. You know, this one I got for like $1.50 or something. I think I just like to give it a try and see what might work. That one will probably do well. Another Shohei Ohtani Project 70. This is one I've sold a couple of times. I know it's a Project 2020. They don't do as well, but this particular one seems to do okay. I've sold this one like it's several different batches and always for 3 or 4 times more than what I buy it for. Let's go on to the next box. Sold a bunch of these in China just because this particular card seems to do pretty well, and it's relatively mass produced, so it's not hard to find, and it seems to always do better in China than it does here. So The slam cards in general, the more recent slam cards do well. So I was going to see if some of the old ones, how they do. I'm not quite sure. Wang Zhizhi, this is a silver. He's the first Chinese basketball player to ever play in the NBA from mainland. So he's quite well known and popular, and he's kind of a legend in the Chinese Basketball Association. And of course, Yao Ming, his cards tend to do well. Normally, I've kind of learned more. I probably won't be getting cards like this one necessarily to send to China. I think it's better to get some kind of like short printed jerseys seem to do better. This is the Tiger card, even though it's just Zach Collins, but sometimes the particular card like this is sought. The zebra stripe, the tiger stripe, it does seem like it's a sought card. Cool looking Shaq cards seem to me in the past they've done a little bit better, so I'm giving it an experiment, see what else might work better. And sometimes I'll go through and again find cool looking auto patches in different sports, even in football. I think this one will do well. Okay, the Beatles are popular in China, so I just got this tiny little Sgt. Pepper card. I'm just curious what it's going to do. So that's mostly a curiosity than anything else. I got it as part of a lot, so I didn't really pay much for it. Zhang Wei Li. That's probably not going to do as well as I once thought before I ordered this, but I think it'll be okay. This is a patch of Tim Duncan. He's definitely popular there. This one I had sold in China for like 10 times more than I bought it for last time, so I bought another couple of them. I'm still in the phase where I'm kind of doing some experiments. I will occasionally go in and just try to find the cards that have done well and just buy those same ones again. But sometimes I'm still experimenting to see like what kinds of things will do well, because I don't necessarily always know. I got a sense, but I don't necessarily always know. So there's a lot of learning I'm going through. This is that acetate, pretty cool looking Sadiq Bey card. Some more of these lower end Bowman Chrome first, so I give it a try. They're press pass, so they're not even licensed, but I notice sometimes unique looking rookies, Tim Duncan, seem to do pretty well. Hakeem Olajuwon, I just like him. He's got to sell well. Tom Brady, not a lot of football players known about in China. Tom Brady is, so sometimes I'll send in some lower end stuff just to see how it does. I'm a little careful about football cards in general because any football card has the potential to fall through the cracks because there's not going to be that many bidders. Sometimes they'll go up really, really high. Sometimes they'll fall through the cracks. So I'm a little bit careful about football cards. Chet Holmgren. Jam City, I sold a Shaq one of these for way more than I expected. So I bought a couple other Jam Cities just to see if they would do well. Shohei Ohtani, I know Mythical is quite a good card in the football series. So I thought, let's see how that one does. Some more of these. Some more of these ones as well. Experiments from the lot that I bought. This is a booklet. I have definitely noticed that booklets are popular. Just as a concept, it seems like booklets sell for more. Numbered out of 199. It looks awesome. It's not autographed or anything, but gosh, that's cool. I like booklets. So again, the only time I get football is if I get them for such a low price that if they did fall through the cracks, I wouldn't be overly worried about it. Like I wouldn't lose out on much, but I'll give it an experiment. Lots of experiments. Jeremy Lin, of course, he's quite popular. Some more Bowman first. This card I have sold in China a couple of times, and it's always done a bit better there than here. This one, I don't know if it will. In fact, I'm going to put this one off to the side for I've learned that some of the lower end Michael Jordan cards don't really do much. Out of This World, another one that's a good product in other sports, and it's Shohei Ohtani, so we'll see what happens. I find sometimes I do this because, the fact that it's not licensed, I don't know, baseball cards aren't as well known in China, and it is a known brand, a known insert, and a player that's one of the more well-known baseball players in China. So I thought this might be worth trying to see how it does in China on auction. Dirk Nowitzki, his cards are another one that don't seem to fall through the cracks. Sometimes cards can sell for higher, sometimes cards can sell for lower. There's a few players that I find don't really fall through the cracks that often. Like Vince Carter might fall through the cracks occasionally, even though sometimes it might sell better in China. But sometimes it might not because it falls through the cracks. Somebody like Yao Ming, Wang Zhizhi, Dirk Nowitzki, their cards don't ever seem to fall through the cracks, at least in my experience thus far. So I feel like they're safer ones for me to make a little bit of profit on. This was, I can't even remember now. This is a Chinese player who, I can't remember his story. I have to look that one up. That's cool. I don't know if I want to keep that one. I'm going to put that one to the side. I might actually even keep that one for myself. I used to love that card when I was a kid. Dandridge. That's another one I kind of want to put off to the side. is a Hall of Famer autograph. I'm going to research that one a little bit. Wander Franco, just experiment. Tony Parker's pretty popular in China. He's on the same team as Tim Duncan. That team was really popular. This particular License to Dominate card, I've noticed, is quite popular in China. Some more of these, lower end Bowman First. Another short printed patch auto. Thought I would give it a try. Not a player that's known in China or anything, but it's just the kind of card that I've noticed seems to do kind of well there. Same with this one. And a couple more of these ones that I've sold a couple times, something like this in China. Supernatural. It's another one. I think this is a cool looking Tom Brady card. I don't think it will fall through the cracks when it's that cool looking. Patch auto. More, same idea. Cool looking card. Not a really well-known player, but it's serial numbered. It's on card autograph. It looks cool. I don't think that's going to be the kind of card that will fall through the cracks, and I have a feeling it will do better in China than here. I don't know for sure, but again, a lot of things I'm experimenting with. This is the zebra stripe. I think it'll do better in China. The Aurora, another one that's in basketball, a really well-known insert, so I don't think it'll fall through the cracks. It's a really well-known player even in China, so I thought this one would probably not fall through the cracks. And when it comes to baseball and football, that's my main goal, finding cards that won't fall through the cracks, that might end up doing better. That's a Kobe card. Okay, you can kind of start to see a pattern in some of these things. Iverson's quite popular. Sometimes his cards do fall through the cracks, but I thought I would give it a try. LeBron James, his cards do not fall through the cracks, so I think I'm safe on his cards generally. Let's see. Actually, I don't know. I think that one I might sell on. I don't think that will sell well in China. That one probably will. So every once in a while, yeah, I might make a mistake on one of my goals here. That's nice. That's all right. Happens to the best of us. So there's other cards sometimes that like I bought a long time ago and they just haven't been selling on COMC. They're too low end to bother doing something like a sending them off to eBay from COMC. They're just too low end. So some of those I've been sending back to myself to send them to China just as another way. They probably will auction for similar to what they would on eBay, but I don't have to do the COMC thing, and I can just move on from them kind of thing. So I do have some cards in that kind of category. All right, here's this one again. Several of those I'm sending in. Ray Allen, I thought he was a player that didn't fall through the cracks. I've learned since then he does, so I don't know if this one would really do that well, but I don't know. Maybe I'll move this to my eBay store, actually. Kobe. Zebra. Same one again. A lot of these. My goodness, so many of those. LeBron James, another one. These are not all exactly the same, of course, but Edmund Gates. Okay, these are just some more lower end autos. Frequent flyers. I think this one will do well. This is what I think I've mentioned before. This is actually my cousin's husband, so whenever I can get a good card of his, I just get it. Although I might actually keep this one. I'm going to put this one to the side because I do really like the look of this. I know this would sell well in China. I know, but I only bought it for like $3, and that is a cool looking card. I just had a family dinner with him like 2 days ago. I think I'm going to have to keep that one. This one just looks particularly cool. I might take that to the next family dinner and just be like, hey, you remember when you signed this? He was actually telling me the other day about what it was like, and how for him when he was just fresh out of college, 22, like, the idea of getting paid several $1,000s to like sit down and sign his name over and over again was really like so cool for him at that, at that age as a young guy who just went into the NFL. He ended up playing in the CFL most of his career, kind of a local college legend in the Pacific Northwest. So this was just kind of a cool card. I think I'm going to end up keeping this one because this is the best of the different autos I've seen of his. Let's see what else we got here. So again, some lower end, mostly lower end, but top brands. This is just what's been working for me. Trevor Lawrence. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of trying to make my eBay store have a few other kinds of sports other than just basketball. So I might move a few of these if I think they'll do better. I'm going to try. I've never tried to send a tennis card to China, but it's low numbered. It's autographed. I give it a try just to learn. This one I sold for like 10 times more in China than it sold for in the US. That one, I noticed, I don't know if this is just a couple of times, but I've noticed cards of players with trophies seem to do better in China, and I'm going to see if that's a thing. Genesis seems to do better in China if it's a low-end player. And then here's a TJ Warren. It's another top brand, even though it's not like the greatest player. He's pretty good though, but it's a top brand. They seem to do pretty well. So experimenting again. This is the last box of cards here from COMC. So let's go through, see what we have here. Some of this stuff isn't a lot. I know I got this for about a penny, so I thought I would sell it in China, see what happens. This also, I got it as part of a port sale at COMC. Bunch of these low-end hockey cards came in a port sale. Thought I'd just see how they do. This is one of those tie-dyes. These tend to do pretty well in basketball, so I thought I would try and see how it does. Again, I mentioned about that card. Yao Ming cards don't fall through the cracks. Give it a try. OJ Mayo, he was pretty popular in China. He played in the Chinese Basketball Association too, so he has particular interests sometimes. This card might do well. I got to remember as I'm going through these to see if there is any that I might want to send off for grading. Now that I'm in the States, I have been considering a few more cards for grading that I had been in the past, so I don't know as I'm going through these. I don't grade. It's not really my style necessarily, at least at this low level kind of card that I'm doing most often. I think it's a better path to go if you're going to do higher end cards, and it's, you know, the margin is a pretty significant difference. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't want to do it. I mean, you have to put kind of a lot of money down on that, and I don't have that. I don't want to put that much money away while I wait for it to sell. It just feels like too much. You know, I'm actually gonna put this aside for now, see if I have it. I'm actually deciding I'm gonna put together that full set. Because I noticed as I was going through my old collection, I had so many of those that I'm on the way to putting together the full set. I might as well. That's a fun one to do. Yao Ming Scoring King card. That's cool. That should do well, I think. This is one of those sketch cards. It's not like it's mass produced, so it's not like an actual sketch on the card, but I thought I'd give it a try. Wow, his autograph is way down there in the corner. Impeccable. That will probably, even though it's sticker, I think it will do well. Yao Ming and Allen Iverson together on a card. I actually sold this one, the same card once before, which is why I bought it again, because it sold so well, so much higher than I expected it to. This will probably do well, I'm sure. Mikal Bridges. You know, actually, now that I've got this one, I'm going to put this one to the side and put it on eBay. I think it will do better in the US. Sometimes I got some of this guy's cards because he plays in the Chinese Basketball Association. He didn't stick around in the NBA, so I thought I would just see what happens. Here is another booklet. These are fun to open, so let's take a quick look. Nice. Cool looking cards. I like booklets. So I think, you know, I don't know for sure. When it comes to hockey, generally cards can fall through the cracks when you sell them for auction in China. That's possible. So I'm not getting anything high-end in hockey to sell in China, but I'm trying some experiments with stuff to see how certain things do, and when things do well, then I get more of something similar to that and see if they continue to do well. And if they do, then I know I've found another area that I can kind of rely on a little bit more. But like I've said in the past, you know, sometimes the Chinese market is a little bit more like hard to read. It changes at times, so I don't always know if something is working now, if it's going to continue to work for the long term or not. I'm not even going to open this one. It's another booklet though. Okay, I bought tons of those for like 75 cents a piece, so I'm putting those together. And now this is a funny one because I wouldn't normally think of this, but I'm buying these ones whenever I can. This is the Feathered Creatures. That's an actual patch, like it's actually weaved or something. But these ones tend to do quite well in China. I don't know. You know, I know there's a history of bird trading cards that goes back almost as long as baseball trading cards. In fact, I'm thinking I might eventually make a YouTube video about bird trading cards, as funny as that is, because it's a popular card trading area in some circles, and I find in China these particular cards seem to do quite well. So we'll see what happens with them again this time. Continuing on, so again, Yao Ming, Allen Iverson seems to do well. This is another one I bought before all the fiasco stuff that numbered out of 99 that I just kind of wanted to sell, so sending it to China instead of. It's kind of funny when I have a card like that that's just like, I don't know what to do with it. It's not going to sell on COMC. I don't want to do anything else with it. That's cool. Yeah, I decided to try this one in China. It's the Great Wall of China, Deadpool. I have no idea how it will do in China, but it seems like a place to try it out. One experience has got me to buy a bunch of these Jam Cities. We'll see if that actually makes sense in the end. Okay, some more low-end autos that I got for good deals, including some football. Some more Bowman First autos, same idea. It's another one I bought for way cheap, and I didn't know what to do with it. It wasn't something that was going to sell on COMC so well, so thought I'd try it in China. This one I have sold in China before, and it did better than I expected it to do, so I'm going to sell that there again. This was super cheap, about for like 75 cents. Kobe Bryant always does well. Shohei Ohtani always does well. Upper Deck Exquisite on-card autos that are short-numbered always does well. Stuff I'm experimenting with, low-end football autos, Bowman autos, Aurora, Ichiro, on-card autos, low-numbered. This one I sold before, that's why I bought this one again, because I sold it for quite well, and then I saw that it was on COMC again. It popped up, and it was a good price again, and I think I could probably triple my money, so thought I'd try. That's a beautiful card, pure basketball. I like that card. It's nice looking. Yao Ming rookie. Probably not going to do that well, but it will do something. Zhang Li, 149. I think that'll do well. Some other autos, I was just giving it a try, see what happens with on-card golf autos, just to see what happens in China. I bought a couple of them. Just not, I don't really know the names, but I'm just giving it a try. You know, baseball, this is not licensed, but Immaculate's high-end, so I thought this would be another one. Give it a try. Zhang Li, popular in China. More Bowman First Auto. This is the Cosmic. So even though it's unlicensed, thought I would give it a try. The unlicensed does mean something in China, but I think it means a little bit less than it does in the US. My impression, I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I read into it. Here's another Zhang Li, short serial numbered. This is the tie-dye, which seems to be very popular in China. This one I accidentally bought. I actually meant to buy the full-size one, but this was 75 cents or something, so it's okay. This one, again, a no-name player, but this particular card has done well for me in the past. Net Marvels have as well. And here's another Hakeem Olajuwon. Do I want to keep that? Nah, send it off. Last handful, kind of a large handful, but the last one. More Bowman First Autos. Okay, that's also my cousin's. He's my cousin's husband. How can I not have personal collection of his cards? I got to. I feel like I have no choice. How can I not have a personal collection of his cards? It seems like it would be rude not to. So maybe I should just keep those when I find them. I don't know. I know I can make a little bit of money with them. So this one I decided because it's the tie-dye, plus it's the two swatches. And in China, I find that even if the name is not known, when it comes to football, if they see the tie-dye, they see the two colors, like, oh, that's something to bid on. I've noticed this, so I'm going to try, see what happens. So some stuff that fell through the cracks, or it's just really cheap on COMC that comes up here and there. Or, you know, cards like this, I'll keep an eye on them pop up. I think they do pretty well in China, so when I see one that seems underpriced on COMC, I'll grab it. It happens every once in a while. I got a lot of these Aurora cards because they're like 75 cents, but Aurora in basketball is so well known, but in baseball it's kind of a more common, less sought kind of insert. So just kind of trying to see. You know, I don't know if that's kind of like a little weird to like play on the, you know, the fact that baseball isn't that popular, and you know, I can get a card that's well known in the basketball world, and basketball world cards are known very well. So just thinking it just will make it not fall through the cracks. And again, when it comes to baseball, anything that's not basketball, my main goal is to not let it fall through the cracks. And if it's successful, not falling through the cracks, it'll probably do pretty well. That's a cool card. It's so tiny. I didn't know what that one was going to look like from the picture. I like it though. That's cool. I wish I could, if you could somehow get a Yao Ming autograph, I just think that would look really cool with the Yao Ming autograph. That's nice. Nolan Arenado. Bowman First. Precious Metal Gems. This is another one that always seems to do well. This 1314 or the originals, but those are harder to come by. But these ones also seem to do really well. The newer ones from the Skybox Metal release came out like a year ago. Those ones don't seem to do nearly as well. This one I got because, again, I sold it previously in China and it did much better than I was expecting, so I thought I'd give it a try. And when I had several different Shaquille O'Neal cards do better than expected, so I bought a few additional ones this time around. Hockey, trying it out. All right, so that's the end of that one as well. So I think that's everything in these couple of boxes that is going to be going off to China. We'll come back. I've got so much stuff to open. Some of the stuff I've got from China that I'm going to be selling in the U.S., and I've got a lot of stuff to show that I've just been kind of waiting for. Now that I moved back in the U.S., I'm catching up with all this stuff. So, all right, come back for the next one. Check it out. Peace.